Hey guys, welcome back to the Leverage Advantage Show. And today we are very humbled, very grateful, very honored to have Bastian Ernst with us. Now, Bastian is the founder of Wild Audience, and Wild Audience is a marketing company that uses respect-based marketing and relationship funnels to get people to feel, act, and convert. And Bastian's been obsessed with building a relationship with his audience, and in order to do that, he created an automated funnel called a relationship funnel that generates leads and sales on autopilot through a unique mechanism he calls respect-based marketing. Thank you so much for being with us, Bastian.
Super excited. Let's do it.
Hey,
Let's have a good conversation.
All right. So, respect-based marketing this is not a term that most marketers would be familiar with, I feel, right? Could you share with us a little bit about respect-based marketing then?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. It's not like a common term. It's actually, I coined the term and actually got the domain, the respectbasedmarketing.com domain. And right now I just use it all the time. But it's nothing new, right? So basically what I was doing in the past was my whole marketing, my whole, sales engine was relying on promotions and launches and stuff like that, discounts, and birthday specials and stuff like that, right? And I didn't want to, I didn't like to be dependent on the promotions. And then once I had this, this month actually where at this huge launch, it screwed up. All my revenue was kind of like screwed. And I was like, okay, never again. And then I thought, all right, so what's business, right? It's basically, it's relationships between people, right? And then I looked at the countdown timers. I looked at the fixed scarcity. I looked at all these things I was using and most other entrepreneurs and businesses use all the time. And I was like, where is the relationship there? Where is the respect and the trust which is needed in order to do business, right? And that's kind of like what I do now. I basically take these never, changing elements of respect, relationship, and trust, combine it with super advanced automation, and that's what we do now.
Awesome. I love something you touched on, all this fake scarcity, because everybody learns about influence, right? And one of those, and one of the weapons of influence is scarcity. So a lot of times people put in fake scarcity, and that really loses the trust of your audience. Share with me a little bit then, how do you build this relationship with your audience and create trust?
Yeah. I mean, first of all, it all starts out with understanding that people or businesses actually, they don't hunt customers, they don't hunt revenue. What they do is they all fight for one thing, which is attention, right? And Gary Vee says this all the time. On the one hand, it's, you got to know how to attract it, but you win once you know and master how to maintain attention, right? And that's what we do. We build sales journeys, we build sales funnels, sales experiences that are optimized to get people engaged, to keep that attention, okay? Because we know that once we engage the right people, right, we will generate more sales, we'll generate more revenue, the conversion rates will go up, okay? Now the question was, how do we do it, right? I mean, there are different ways on how you can get your people engaged, right, and to convert. So what we do is we use stuff like frequency selectors, open loops, cliffhangers. We use attention grabbing, kind of like call to actions. We use activation hooks, getting people to reply. We use micro investments. We use all these things in order to increase, the user's investment into you and your content, so that once the person then arrives in your conversion event, whatever this is, the sales call, the webinar, the sales page, whatever that is, right, the meeting. Once that person arrives at the conversion event, this person is warmed up, has a relationship, has all the necessary buying beliefs installed, that once that person has the conversation with you, he or she is pretty much ready to buy.
I love it, man. Like you're speaking my language. I love, your open hooks, your cliffhangers, your micro commitments. These are things which we use in marketing. We understand it, and we sometimes, when you're in flow, you can create a beautiful sequence and get it all happening. But for a lot of people, especially for new marketers, first of all, they don't have all those tools. So they're not familiar with everything. Like, for example, your open hooks, your micro commitments, your cliffhangers, and so on and so forth. So how do you think a new marketer would best be able to start incorporating this in their work?
Right. So of course, there are a lot of things you could do, right? And they're super sexy. There's a lot of fun to implement. And of course, we all want to have the whole thing, right? But that's not where we start, right? So don't feel overwhelmed if you feel like I need to build multi-channel relationship funnels with all these elements, right? So no. So what we do is basically we put out a lead magnet. Okay, that's the first thing. There's usually a PDF of around 10 to 30 pages to get people in. That, attracts them, but also qualifies them. So you got to make sure that this lead magnet is 100% related to your offer, to your product or service, right? You can promote that lead magnet with blog posts, with Facebook ads, whatever it is, right? You drive traffic to it. Then, okay, second step is, instead of just, getting people to opt in with the email address and then sending them automated emails, you actually want to put them through a segmentation process, okay? So that's what we do. We offer a lead magnet to get people in, and then we're going to ask 4 to 5 questions in order to figure out the problem, their goal, and where they're at, and a few other things which are related to your business, right? And then once we have that data, we can then personalize and customize the whole journey in the emails, on the website, on the bot messages, and so on. But again, this is like big picture thing. You don't have to have all of this, right? So you have the lead magnet, the segmentation, and then an email sequence. And make sure in the email sequence, you use the data which you collected to personalize the experience. These are usually 7 emails. And then you try, if you have call to actions in these emails, usually between 4 and 7. That's how we do it, and with our clients, to get them to the conversion event. And that's depends on the price, the product, and the niche you're in. It's either a webinar, a sales page, a call, a meeting, and so on. That's kind of like the basics, and then you can pull, you can make it more complex and more advanced. You can add multiple channels, you can retargeting funnels, bot funnels, and so on. There's lots of stuff you can do in order to, improve it and optimize it.
Awesome, man. Now, here's a question I've got for you. Is this something that works only for B2C clients, or is it something that you think works as well with, say, hardcore B2B clients? I'm talking about like manufacturing or aerospace engineering.
We don't have an aerospace client. We do have a lot of B2B customers, but these are, for example, SaaS companies, right? They sell software. They sell software to other businesses, right? For that, it works really well. Basically, our stuff, what we use is education. We use that a lot because, if you buy stuff, you always make buying decisions as a user or as a consumer or even as a business owner based on specific beliefs, right? That's what we call the belief system, right? And your goal as the marketer or salesperson or entrepreneur or business owner is to make sure to install the right beliefs so that then this person, the potential customer, can accept the decision or the need or the desire of your product or service, right? And the way you do this is through the funnel, right? That's everything that happens before you request the sale, right? Everything that happens before, that's all about optimizing and installing these beliefs, right? And if you can do that, then it works for your business. And the way we do it is through educational content. So if you can educate your audience around the solution you sell, then it works.
Absolutely, man. Like, I see a lot of similarities between what you do and what we do. For us, we believe like one of the best ways to market your product, to give something away for free that actually helps you rather than costs you, is you teach people about the thing that you sell, teach people about the problem that you solve. Or
exactly.
Or even teach people how to select you, right? So they're always looking for a solution. You show them how to select a solution that actually leads them to you. I think that's like one of the most, I don't think I can swear on this podcast. That's one of the most brain fucked ways for you to like get a
mind blowing.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it, right? Like, you're talking to people, they feel like you're giving them content, they feel like you're giving them value, but actually what you're doing is you're encoding in their brain how to select you rather than everybody else.
Exactly.
And so
exactly. And
carry on, man.
And the cool thing is, so what most companies do is if they sell an app, a software, whatever it is, a core service or product, they usually have an ad, and it links, and the ad tries to sell the product or service, right? That's how most companies operate. We kind of like put a level before that, the second business, or kind of like tier before the core, which is called the front. And the front is all about education, right? So parts of it there are for free, like I mentioned before, the lead magnet, right? That's for free. It doesn't cost anything, right? But then we use, for example, online courses, we use PDFs, we use ebooks, and so on. We actually sell them, right? And that's something which allows us to, install these buying beliefs, use education to build a relationship, create trust, installs all the beliefs so that they are then ready for the core product or service, right? The cool thing is you can actually make money with that, right? That's called the front. And instead of just having the ad and then pay for the ad to get people to, try out your core product or use a trial or whatever, buy it, right? You first get them into the front. You get a conversion rate here. We get an 8% conversion rate at the front, right? And in some cases, we get actually paid for the people. We get paid that people try our core, right? And that's how you turn it around. That allows you to qualify your buyers and decrease the time it takes to make your ROI back, right? And that's all about the front, which is heavily based on education. So combining education with your core is always good choice, in my opinion.
Awesome. But here's the thing, right? Like, I don't know if you have the same problem where you're working from, but here in Singapore, small and medium enterprise business owners are so impatient. A lot of them don't understand that oftentimes the ROI for your marketing comes because of your long-term value, because of the lifetime value of your customer. They expect that you get a result immediately from your front end. Like I'm telling them, like, right, guys, if you are spending $10,000 in ads and that brings you back $10,000 in revenue on the front end, you're winning. Like even if it brings you back $8,000 in revenue in the front end, guys, you're winning, because throughout the lifetime of these customers, you're going to be milking them for way more than that, right? And the other thing is this, like, think about how much effort it's going to cost you to bring in a new customer, as opposed to creating an automated sequence of education, whether it's a bait piece, lead magnet, or an educational course, and then monetizing what we call a self-liquidating offer, monetizing that in the front, and basically your marketing pays for itself, right? And you have you can scale it. It becomes predictable, like you said. You have an 8% conversion rate. You can scale it up. If for every $10,000 you spend now, you're making back $10,000. You put in $20,000, you make $20,000 back, right? So it gives you a predictable way to scale. So I really love what you're talking about here. It's very similar to what we do here at the Leverage Group. I read, right, that you rejected monthly promotions, discounts, and product launches and built a $100,000 business in 6 months solely based on this technique. Share with me a little bit about how you did that, man.
Yeah, let's do it. So at the beginning, I was doing freelancing. I was offering my marketing services. I, had a few small, digital courses and stuff like that, but it wasn't really taking off. Okay. And at that time I was doing promotions. I was actually every week I had to come up. Okay. All right. What I'm going to do next Friday. Okay. What's going to be the hook? What's going to be the story? Right. And so on, how to get people in, and then what's going to be the thing. Right. Every single week. I hated it, right? It was so repetitive. I was really stuck in this promotion wheel, right? And nothing had leverage, okay? Nothing had leverage. Nothing was an asset. And what I wanted to, work on a campaign, and I want to build it. And then once it's built, it's set, and it runs and runs and runs and runs. And for me, the turning point was when I was, again in the promotion wheel, and then I actually screwed up. But either you screw up or your email system screws up, right? If one of these things screw up, right, your entire promotion is going to be screwed for the month, meaning your revenue is on the bottom, right? That's what happens if you rely on product-based and product launches and promotions entirely, right? What I'm saying is I did that. It didn't work for me that well. Then I switched back to Evergreen, right? And that kind of was the key point for me. And I was basing everything. My foundation was an evergreen system where I offered my services and products on an evergreen level, meaning people can buy 24/7, every day of the year, meaning I can serve my people actually way better because I don't push them into a buying experience, even though they're not ready to buy it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like when I switched. And then when it took off was once I had this evergreen system, right? And then I said, okay, I got to focus, because I read this quote, the story basically how Bill Gates and Warren Buffett met. Do you know that one? It's a fun story. So basically they were all sitting on the dinner table, and then Bill's mom was asking these guys, hey, Warren, Bill, like, why are you guys so successful? And then both looked at each other and then said, focus, right? And then I was like looking at my traffic strategies, and I was trying everything. I was trying, SEO, blog posts, Facebook ads, everything, and it didn't really move the needle for me. And I was like, okay, I have the Evergreen system, I have my conversion rates, I have my numbers, I know exactly how much I can spend per lead. Why am I not doubling down? Why am I not focusing? I put 7K into Facebook ads this 1 month. I remember I had the numbers, so I was confident I can do it, right, because of the past. And then we had 26 in return this one single month, and then I scaled it up. And that's how I was able to do this in this time frame in these 6 months. Basically the solution for me was focus in terms of traffic and having a bulletproof backend, meaning a sales funnel that actually works.
Awesome, man. I know you've worked with a whole ton of clients. I've seen in your bio over 224 clients in 2017. What were some of the biggest things you learned doing so many campaigns? What are some of the biggest learnings that you had?
One of the biggest things I learned was we work with different types of businesses in different stages in their business journey. But one thing, and I'm sure you notice very well, is most businesses lack the overall funnel strategy of their business. Okay, and that's actually something I learned from Russell Brunson. It's basically the value ladder, right? Even people knew about it, or most people actually didn't know about it. But basically, before people hire me, so that, hey, let's build a really cool funnel for your business, right? Let's get in converting, let's make a lot of money, right? That's kind of like why they hire me. But before we actually build out that funnel, we sit together and we think about, okay, what's going to be the front end, what's going to be the core, what's going to be the back end. So even if you don't start out with all of this, right, we define the lead magnet, then the front end, the core, the back end, and the recurring business model, right? And then once we have defined it, then we have the big picture strategy. It makes the the client and the company make it understand easierly, right? Then we're going to start out with the lead magnet and the core. That's what we're going to start. We have iteration 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to add the front and then the back and so on. But it's a step-by-step process. And having this big picture is one of the big things I learned with working with these people last year.
Awesome, man. Like I completely agree with you. I think there are two big problems that most companies that are looking for marketing have to solve. And in fact, like what you mentioned, about them not having the value ladder is really the first thing that Russell talks about in .com Secrets. It's the thing that you can't see, but it's the easiest thing to fix. A lot of times we go and we talk to clients and it's incredible because they engage us for marketing strategy, but we end up consulting them on their business model, right? Because they don't have a value ladder. The other thing that I've noticed working with clients is the biggest mistake or the biggest thing that most of them don't have that's actually missing from all their businesses, that's affecting their business, is they don't have a clear idea of their target avatar. They've got zero idea. So if you don't have your target avatar, you don't know your marketing message, you don't know what kind of products to sell, you don't know their problems, their frustrations, and a lot of them are making money primarily because it's brute force, right? It's like, I'm just going to go and create something and I'm going to go sell. But if you want to automate, if you want to target, if you want to be more efficient, you can't do that. You got to be clear on your target avatar, and you got to have a proper value ladder so people can. So you're really getting as much as you can from that target market.
That's 100% true. Like the avatar thing, what you mentioned is it's so important because if you don't get this right, you're going to pay a lot of money in the front end for attracting the wrong kind of people, right? Because your whole funnel is based on the right targeting, right? So if you get the wrong people into your funnel through maybe the wrong choice of title in your lead magnet, or the wrong lead magnet, the wrong targeting, or you think you know your avatar, but you don't, right? If you screw this part up, everything else in the back end will not work because everything is connected with each other.
Awesome. In fact, I'll tell you a story, man. So when we started this company, we're very clear about the target the avatar that we wanted to target. But then of course there were other companies that came to us and say, "Oh, can you do this for us? Can you do that for us?" And when you're starting out, you're hungry for revenue. You're like, "All right, I'll do it," right? And then that actually bit us in the butt. Like maybe 3 or 4 months down the road, because we ended up like, these are really not the kind of clients that we want. We're spending more money servicing them than we are getting from them, right? And then what happens is because it's just not a fit, and we want to terminate that agreement, we end up refunding them as well. So we kind of lose twice as much revenue than we got. So I think a lot of people don't understand how important it is to identify your target avatar and stick to it. I mean, there are going to be other people that come, and the temptation to get that extra revenue is going to be strong, especially if you're starting out or your funds are drying up. But you just got to know it's going to cost you so much more than if you just stuck to your target avatar.
That's an important lesson. We had the same thing. Like if you go for the short-term revenue, even by getting the wrong client, your support tickets will go up and eventually will end up in a refund. And it's just you learn how to say no, right? It's something every entrepreneur needs to learn.
Hey man, so tell me what excites you the most about our industry.
What I love a lot about like what we do is with funnels and respect-based marketing is that everything is based on numbers, on math and experiments. Meaning I can go and build this little thing, a funnel, or we can try this little product. And with the tools we have, we can really fast build something out, test it, and then get instant results and then tweak it. And after a few iterations, we have something that works or doesn't. Right. And that's what I love. And then it's not like thinking, it's not hope marketing, it's not assumptions. It's actually looking at the numbers, comparing, doing them off, and then you can rock and roll, or not. Right. And that's what I love a lot.
Yeah. I think you hit it on the nail, right? I think a lot of people don't really realize that business is a series of micro tests. So a lot of times people come to me and ask me, like, do you know if this, that, and the other? I'm like, I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm willing to test it. First of all, I'm willing to say I don't know. And second of all, I'm willing to test it. Now, here's my question for you. My question for you is this. Okay, so at the Leverage Group, we have a very specific process, right? So you define your target avatar, you define your pawns, then you build your, and so on and so forth. So it's like a 7-step process. You can check it out on the landing page. But my question to you is, when you create a campaign and you launch it and it doesn't work as well as you thought it would work, what are your next steps? What do you do next? What's the first
step? That's a good one. So that's kind of like the first one. You need to have the mindset that what you're going to put out first, iteration 1.0, is not going to work, right? And I always need to teach my clients, hey, okay, you think we do awesome, we build awesome funnels, and it's true, right? But be prepared that the first iteration will not work the way it should work, right? And that's okay, right? Because that's normal, right? First one, you need to teach them, because they think, okay, they're going to build a funnel, it's going to work, and they're going to be a millionaire, right? It's not the case. Usually what we've seen is it's usually iteration 3, which is the winning one. And then we prepare everything for scaling, and then we do scale up then. And the way we do it is, for example, like recently we just launched a new funnel. Iteration 1, it of course didn't work out the way we wanted it to be. And then we just do a deep dive literally into the funnel. So there's a sequence. We have the ad, we have the each email. We open up each email, we check out each open rate, we check out each click rate. And then basically we go from the beginning and go all the way back to the conversion rate. So if you see, you check the conversion rate on the sales page, you check the click rates on the emails, you check the landing page signups on the landing page, right? It doesn't really make sense to optimize the 2 or 3% conversion rate or whatever on the sales page if you're leaking a lot of people on the landing page. So we start always out with the landing page, then we check the emails, we make sure that we improve the click rate, because if you only have 1% click rate, right, to your sales page, it doesn't make sense to optimize the sales page. You first want to optimize for the click rate and get people to the sales page. And then once you have fixed this problem, you then want to deal with the next problem, right? So step by step, you roll out and roll over all these problems and fix them step by step. So until, all the way to iteration 3, where you should be able to have kind of like everything set up and then ready to scale it up, right? Yeah, but you fix it step by step.
Awesome. I love what you just said, because I think a lot of clients don't realize how much work goes into building a funnel, right? You think, so let's just open Clickfunnels, put some images together, put a video there, put a button there, and voila, you've got a funnel, right? But you don't really realize that there's so much work to go into it. First of all, you got to worry about traffic, right? Where you're going to get quality traffic from. And then you got to worry about conversion. And conversion alone is a monster by itself. Your landing page conversions, your second, third, fourth pages, your email sequence conversions, your open rates, it's a nightmare for somebody who doesn't do it day in or day out, right? And for people like us who love doing it, love looking through the numbers, love creating and conceptualizing campaigns, it's what we live for. But I think people don't realize how much real work goes into it. I truly believe that people think funnel hackers just open up ClickFunnels, put some images together, and then you've got a landing page. Open up like funnel scripts, you've got a nurture sequence, and then you can just leave it there and run it on autopilot.
Nice. Yeah, I've never used the Russell stuff, the Clickfunnels stuff, but I love his books. It's great stuff, but the tools I don't use. Is it good stuff?
It's it's great. We normally build our landing pages on ClickFunnels because we've got a kick-ass ClickFunnels guy that does it, that the funnel
Yes.
hacker, and it's easy because if clients need to change, say the date of the event or anything like that, they can do it themselves quite easily. And there's just a lot of they've got a ton of tools. I feel like I'm promoting ClickFunnels now. I'll put a link so that if anybody wants to sign up for ClickFunnels, we get a commission. But honestly, it's really good stuff. We use it all the time. Our entire business is really based on ClickFunnels. If ClickFunnels goes out of business, we're screwed. Tell me, man, we're coming towards the end of the interview, but if you could go back in time 10 years and tell your old self one thing, what would it be, man?
10 years. So at that time I was still in partying mode. I guess 10 years ago, I wish I had a mentor or maybe my parents or someone, a mentor probably, who would show me the life of an entrepreneur way earlier, right? Who would have pushed me maybe a little bit or open up the opportunities to actually do really cool projects, right? So I was like this typical teenager, right? Like partying in high school and girls and stuff like that. And then only later, I became normal, quote unquote, you know what I mean? So if I, would be able to go back 10 years, I wish I wouldn't be such a party tiger, but instead, started to work on really cool projects, learn to code, learn to speak Spanish, French, all these cool languages, right? Which I now hate myself that I didn't study. So that's kind of like what I would do differently.
Awesome. Because now you're an entrepreneur, you're normal, right?
Yeah.
We're far from normal, bro. Just so you know, you and we're normal to each other, but to everybody else, I don't really think we're normal. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate the time you chose to spend with us. I'm extremely humble, very honored, very grateful to have you on. Share with everybody else about your business. If they want to know more about how you can help them generate more leads with respect-based marketing, how can they find you?
Yeah, so you guys should go to wildaudience.com/podcast. And that's basically, once you arrive on that page, you can, sign up with your email address and first name, and you get a summary of everything what we talked about today during the podcast. And it's basically an 8-step plan and a guide on how to build a relationship funnel and use respect-based marketing, implement it into your business. And then the cool thing is, everything we talked about today, if you want to see that in action, you can actually see how it unfolds in front of you. So it's pretty, pretty cool.
I love it, man. I love it. Practicing what you preach. Thank you so much for being on the show. I look forward to speaking again with you soon, man.
It was a good chat, my man. Have a good one.
You too, man. Bye.
Hey there, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, check out the relevant video here. And don't forget to subscribe to us for more marketing tips, techniques, strategies that are working for us, or just more behind the scenes fun. See ya.